Good morning, I'm John Ellsworth, founder of Success Strategies Incorporated and the creator of the Success Strategies Advantage software, and I want to ask you a question. The title of this presentation, is it time to reset? And I promised this was going to be about resetting in my last video, so I want to start with that question. Is it time to reset? I recently finished a new book by Dan Heath, who is an excellent author and has a number of really good books that have come out. But this new book, his most recent one, released in late January, I believe it was, is entitled Reset. It is an excellent book, and I would highly recommend that you take some time to read it. It's not a very long book, but it's really packed with great information. It has lots of positive change management discussion and tools in it, and it outlines methods for improving things in your operation. I often hear clients citing, more than any other topic, citing labor challenges. And Heath is one to quickly point out there is no emergency, there are only choices. So that requires you to step back and really examine it. But the key to making improvements, he says, is to, and I quote, find the leverage points and then restack resources on those leverage points, end of quote. One company he talked about was suffering from really low employee motivation. So they put together a questionnaire of 4 questions. The first one, what makes a good day for you? The second question, what makes you proud to work here? The third one, when we are at our best, what does that look like? What's that really look like for us as a company? And number 4, what are the impediments you have to your performance? What's holding you back? And I should give him credit for all those. Those are his questions, of course. And in response, the management team addressed the challenges that surfaced, very quickly, especially the small ones. Here's an example. The coffee machine didn't always work. It did not work consistently, let's say that. It worked sometimes, but not all the time. So they replaced it right away. And you know what's really neat about that? It was at relatively low cost, but the morale was improved dramatically. And post-implementation, I thought this was a clever idea. They had 3 clear boxes at the place where people clocked out at the end of the day, where they were exiting. And so post-implementation of these changes that they had identified and managed to make, there were 3 clear boxes. One of them was filled with orange ping pong balls. One was filled with white ping pong balls. So, and the third box was empty. So at the end of their workday, each employee, anonymously, it didn't have to have anything written on it or any names, but anonymously at day's end, if they had a difficult day, if they had a real challenging day and some ugly things they had to deal with, they took an orange ball and put it in the empty box. If they had a solid, fulfilling, exciting, positive day, then they would take a white ball from the white container and put it in the empty box. But in either case, they were putting it in the empty box. So what did that do? I think it's really clever. It gave management some immediate feedback about what was working. Or if there were things that weren't working, they could respond more quickly. They could identify them. They could come to you and say, okay, Bill, what is it that's bothering you? Okay, Joe, what is it that's bothering you? What's not working for you? And they could, again, identify the leverage points, and then they could restack their resources to fix them. I think it's a clever idea. They could identify the leverage points, now restack resources to be able to address them, and ultimately get a better outcome. And as I said earlier about the coffee maker was a simple example, often at fairly low cost. Now, some of you are probably saying, well, but will this last? Will this motivation last? And my response to that is a quote from Zig Ziglar, which I love, and I'm going to wrap up with this. Zig Ziglar said, and I quote, "People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing, and that's why we recommend it daily." End of quote. I want to thank you for listening today. I'm John Ellsworth, founder of Success Strategies Incorporated, creator of the Success Strategies Advantage, and I want to thank you very much for listening.